Hello you fantastic people and welcome back to another Borderlands 3 video. Hope you guys are all doing well. In this one, it's my level 65 Mayhem 10 Flax Pet build. It is solely centered around shoving as many points to Flax Pet's damage as you possibly can, and it actually wrecks. It's kind of ridiculous. It's primarily centered around the mobbing side of things, so takedowns, it is a ton of fun to use. It's essentially like having 50-50. Flak still does a lot of damage in this, by the way, surprisingly, because I didn't really put any pet points into him at all. Still does a ton of damage, but Pet just one thinks so many things. The explosion radius is a ton of fun. But yeah, I'll start showing some clips on screen so you guys can see. I'll try and show it as best as I can. If you just sort of stand there and watch Pet, he doesn't do as much damage. You really stack up his abilities and his damage by getting kill skills. So if you guys are working together as like a team, like an actual team, believe it or not, rather than you just carrying Pet around, it actually works really, really well, because as you're getting Flax kill skills up, Pet damage goes through the roof, and it is a ton of fun watching you guys blow up enemies next to each other. It's awesome. But yeah, just before we get too far in the video, if you guys do find this video helpful or enjoyable, feel free to smash subscribe down below. I usually save this for the end of the video, but we actually have 90% of people that watch my videos that are not subscribed. So if you guys do enjoy the videos, don't forget to smash subscribe on the way out. It really does help me out, and I'd really, really appreciate it. But yeah, in this video, I'm of course going to show you guys the skill tree you guys want to rock for the level 65 Pet build to try and get as much damage out of Pet as you possibly can. And the ones you definitely want to spec into if you can, of course, with your class mods, because the more you boost them, the more amazing Pet is at room clearing. On top of that, of course, the weapons you guys want, the anointments, the gear, all that good stuff if you want to stack this as much as possible. Like I said, this is primarily a mobbing build, but it still does really well in bossing situations as well. It particularly shines in, of course, the Scourge fight, the Anathema fight, the Wotan fight, etc. in the takedowns, because you have so many kill skills stacked up and you have so much damage, particularly when you can use Pet at the same time. I wouldn't recommend it as like a single boss farming build. For example, against Graveward, you can't really stack up Frenzy, you can't really get your kill skills because you're not going to be using Bounty Hunter. You can if you want, but if you guys are rocking the same gear as you have in this build, you're probably going to be lacking compared to my other builds. If you guys are after a bossing build, I definitely have better ones on the channel. If you guys want to check those out, you're more than welcome to. This one is just a ton of fun messing around with Pet in takedowns and just kind of having like an actual good sidekick of a Pet for once. To be fair, Pet is pretty solid nowadays with the amount of health they have in Mayhem 10, but this build just makes them amazing on the damage front. But yeah, hopefully the clips did it justice on screen. It was really hard to show off how much damage Pet can do, because you need to be stacking your kill skills all the time to keep that damage up, because as soon as you stop killing things, your damage stacks go down a ton and Pet drops off really quick, which they still do damage if it's just them by themselves, but it definitely works better if you guys work together as an actual team. But yeah, as for weapons, I'm not going to spend too much time going through these because it is our same Gamma Burst loadout, plus a few extra rolls I've managed to get in the last week or so. This thing is amazing. If you guys haven't heard about it by now, you surely haven't been watching any Borderlands 3 videos. The Hellwalker is absolutely amazing. Got buffed recently. Definitely get your hands on one of these. I'm using Gamma Burst anoints for all of these weapons in this build. You are more than welcome to go a URAD build, which is a 150% bonus radiation damage under 50% health. If you guys want to pair that with a front loader shield, then that will work probably even better than these ones. You'll get more damage. You'll just have less health is the problem. So yeah, Hellwalker is amazing go-to. I was pretty much using that for everything because it's just that much fun to use. The Light Shows DLC 3 pistol, amazing. The Monarchs are fantastic and are your maximum damage you want to get out of the Guardian Takedown. Rock a Monarch with consecutive hits, Gamma Burst, URAD, whichever anoint you want. Consecutive hits is a really good one to have across all your builds because Monarch stacks it up so quickly. The Lyra is really good for bossing if you want. We have other light shows in here for the save file. Hell Shocks, we've got the Starved Beast, amazing DLC 4 weapon. Cutsman does alright, still does alright. The Flipper is definitely better though. The Hyper Focuses are really, really good, particularly against certain things you can try and hit multiple pellets on the side of. The Breath of Dying, one-shot blob kills everything, is amazing. If you can get that in a group, you're just going to blow up the entire group. The Chaos, amazing assault rifle, my second favorite in the game. Ton of damage, really good for mobbing as well. Kind of like laser fire accuracy as well. The Boomsicle, we managed to get one of those for the save file for you guys if you want to mess around with it. The other ones in here, honestly, I'm just kind of messing around. Got an OPQ, still rocks by the way, even level 57 doesn't matter. Even if you don't even have a good anointed one, by the way, it still definitely works. Convergence, really difficult to get, but definitely worth if you can. The Redundant Reflux, if you guys can get one of these, it doesn't even have to be a redundant, by the way, it's just that's the best roll you can get. This is so good for the Guardian Takedown. The room clearing ability just destroys all the armor. It's amazing if you guys can get those ones. Other than that, of course, the lobs are still amazing for Gamma Burst builds. The Plague Bearer, the Major Kong, the Backburner, the Sandhawks. There's a new one, the Prime Sniper is amazing. As for shields though, I'm rocking the Transformer with Pool Party on. That's a really good survivability strat if you guys want to rock that one. For your Mayhem modifier, essentially whenever you break an enemy's shield, it shoots an electric puddle on the ground, and the Transformer picks up shock damage and puts into the shield capacity. So you can just run over that and pretty much be immortal throughout the entire thing, which is really, really good, particularly for the takedowns. For the melee one takedown, pretty much everyone has a shield. And for the Guardian takedown, their health is literally a blue shield bar, so you just get a ton of survivability out of that. Otherwise, you guys can rock an Old God for like more bossing situations if you have no problem with survivability. Stopgap I rock from time to time as well for that immunity phase. Now, as for grenade, I'm rocking Cloning Hunter Seekers all the time for this build. Essentially, if you throw a few of these up, it stacks up your Furious Attack, which is one of your skill trees I'll explain later, as well as essentially getting your action skill cooldown back without you actually having to shoot anything, because these things not only home and find other enemies, it also shoots them, so that stacks up essentially gun damage, or as if you were shooting, so it gets your stacks via that. So if you guys just want to watch Pet do the damage, just throw a few of these up in the air and it'll stack that for them and instantly make Pet even stronger just because you throw a grenade. Plus, if you get one of those anoints on there, helps out your damage as well. As for the class mod, Red Fang all the way for this build is really, really helpful having this ability. Essentially, whenever Gamma Burst is active, Flax Pant taunts all enemies. This is like literally the GOAT strat for the Guardian takedown. Essentially, if you're ever on a crystal stage, just send out Gamma Burst and all the enemies go towards it. I'll show a clip on screen if you guys didn't already see it. Essentially, you can just stand on the crystal stage, emote, chill, have a drink, watch something on YouTube if you want, just for like the 30 seconds, then jump from crystal to crystal, and no one comes near you, no one bothers you, because everyone is attacking Pet, and it's amazing. If you guys can get any good passives on there, it'll really help you out. I have like 6 or 7 in here. It's kind of amazing for any situation, having different roles if you guys can get these. As for the artifact, of course, the Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge is still the best artifact in the game. Hopefully they bring out something that is, I don't know, rivals it, or maybe brings up the other ones to do more damage. I don't know, but as for the moment, the Pearl is definitely the strongest artifact in the game. If you don't have DLC though, don't stress, you don't need it for this. You can just substitute for a different one. For example, the Snowdrift Auto Idol is really good for survivability. The Snowdrift Victory Rush is really good for survivability because you can zip around, plus you get more damage from the Victory Rush itself. That's a really good mobbing base game artifact to go for. Plus, I always have a cut purse launch pad in pretty much all of my builds, but especially for Guardian takedowns, because you always run out of ammo if you're using the same gun type the entire way through. For example, Monarchs. So get one of those on, just switch it out for the Pearl every once in a while whenever you run out of ammo. Jump up in the air, slam down the ground, and you'll shoot all those rockets out. They'll go like home in, find other enemies, and it brings you back ammo into the gun you're holding. It's kind of an amazing strat. Would highly recommend you guys getting your hands on one of these. Now, as for the good stuff, the level 65 Mayhem 10 Gamma Burst Pet build, this is the blue tree to start off with. First, of course, we're going Gamma Burst. As for the augments, I put on Empathetic Rage for increased 20% damage during Gamma Burst. You don't have to use this one. You can use Atomic Aroma if you want there to be a radiation aura around your pet the whole time, which does damage over time, but it doesn't seem to do that much that's worth reducing your damage by 20% essentially. But you can mess around with that if you guys just want pet to do all the damage and you not to do anything. As for the other augment, Endurance, essentially when Flak or Flak's pet kills an enemy while Gamma Burst is active, the duration of Gamma Burst is extended for 3 seconds per kill, and pet's damage is increased. This effect stacks up to 5 times. Pet damage, 10% per kill. You can stack pet's damage by 50% just by getting 5 easy melee 1 scrub enemy kills in the Guardian takedown over the course of the Gamma Burst duration, which will then be extended by 3x5, 15 extra seconds of Gamma Burst, which is really, really good ability to have. If you guys are lacking on the damage, you're more than welcome to take out one of these if you want and put it into Burst Aid. Essentially, whenever you shoot out Gamma Burst, it'll leave a little rift thing there, which you can stand on and get easy health, 20% of max health per second. It's really, really strong. Now, as for these skill points, starting Persistent Hunter, 3 in here, gun damage and Gamma Burst duration, really, really good. Now we put all 5 points in Ferocity and all 5 points in Go for the Eyes. Essentially, increased critical hit damage. The first attack pet does is an instant crit hit, instantly a ton of damage. Ferocity increased 70% damage because we have 2 in there from our class mod, sorry. 50% as standard though is still a ton. And that gets us down to Frenzy, essentially what is a capstone in the second row of blue tree, which is kind of amazing. Put all 5 points into here as much as you can. Essentially, whenever pet attacks somebody, you get increased stacks of Frenzy, and at max stacks you have 40% extra damage. That's amazing. For melee pets, you put in points in He Bites. Essentially, whenever pet is attacked, it reflects damage back at those enemies, and that stacks up Frenzy as well. Now we put 3 points in here. This is a huge ability at the moment, particularly with the current bug in the game, with most enemies doing Mayhem 10 damage. If you put as many points as you can in He Bites, literally the enemies hitting pet are downing themselves or killing themselves because they're doing so much damage to pet. He's just reflecting it back, and the enemies are just downing themselves. It's kind of amazing. Just stand there and watch them just room clear themselves. Pet's not even getting around to attacking them all, and they've already gone down. It's fantastic. I put a point in Who Rescued Who. Essentially, whenever you do damage, it regens Flax Pet's health, and then vice versa. If Pet is doing damage, it revives our health. It's pretty much all you need is 1 point to keep Flax Pet alive, just in the very rare chance that Pet is just getting absolutely pummeled. I put a point in Psycho Head on a stick. It's a hunt kill skill. Whenever Flax kills an enemy, their pet gains increased movement speed and damage for a few seconds. 26% extra damage and movement speed by 16%. And that hunt kill skill is boosted by Big Game in a red tree, by the way. That gets us down to 5 points in Barbaric. Yep, that is 200% extra pet bonuses, which is really, really good. A point in Mutated Defenses. Essentially, whenever Flax Pet is at low health, they get a crazy amount of damage reduction and health regen for 6 seconds, which is really, really good. And then 3 points in Pack Tactics for just Pet and Flax damage and health increase by 21% and 15% respectively. Then over to a Red Tree. This thing essentially, no points in helping Flak out at all. Just put as many points as you can into Pet. Interplanetary Stalker is the first one. Essentially, it's a kill skill that stacks our damage, but also more importantly for this build, pet damage. This one, not the strongest one, only 5% per stack, 3 stacks total, 15% extra damage for pet. Then we put 3 points into Leave No Trace just for ammo back into the Hellwalker, of course. 3 points into head count because you definitely don't want to be out of Gam Burst for this build. You want Pet to be the one in target all the time, using Red Fang all the time. So with 3 points in here, throw a few Hunter Seekers or just shoot somebody and get a bunch of critical hits really easy. Instant Gam Burst back within like 3 to 5 seconds maximum. We put 4 points in Hunter's Eye just for those extra bonuses there, just to honestly get us down to the next row, because none of these help Pet or really us in this build. That gets us down to Big Game, essentially 100% increase in hunt skill duration and 30% increase in hunt skill effects. Essentially any skill in Flax skill trees, any of them that say hunt skill is increased by Big Game. So you want to put 3 points in here. Then you put 3 points in Most Dangerous Game, amazing kill skill for Flak and Flax Pet. Essentially, whenever you kill a badass or named enemy, you get all of these bonuses here. 25% gun damage, 10% crit damage, 33% handling, and 27% pet damage for 120 seconds, which is a really, really long time. That'll get you down to Grim Harvest. Now, we're not even using these two if you want to do damage yourself in this build, which isn't the point of this build, but if you want a little bit more damage, put a point in, I would start with Megavore, and then you can put a point in Galactic Shadow as well if you want, because that'll increase your damage a ton. But I just want to put all the points into pet damage, essentially. 5 points in Grim Harvest gets you 35% extra pet damage and 50% action skill damage as well. Then over to Furious Attack in Green Tree. 5 points in here. It's a really easy ability to stack up. After shooting an enemy, Flak gains a stack of Furious Attack. If you don't even want to shoot things, by the way, like I said, using Cloning Hunter Seekers are an amazing grenade for this build. You just throw a few of those out there, they'll go find enemies, they'll go shoot them, stack Furious Attack pretty much instantly, and then you can just watch Pet do all the work for you. It's kind of amazing because at max stacks, you get 20% extra gun damage, but Pet gets 30% extra damage just because you shot something 10 times or threw out a Cloning Hunter Seeker and it did it for you, which is really, really good. We also have a point in Eager to Impress from our class mod, which essentially just gets our action skill back a little bit quicker if we are killing things. Now, as for the all-important pet choice, the Spider Ant Scorcher is the hardest hitting pet all around for this build. I tested a ton of them. They also give us 30% extra elemental damage and 3% max regen per second. That is because of this ability right here. If it doesn't show up straight away, by the way, just go out and then go back in and it should have reset. For example, the Great Horn Skag now does 15% damage and 30% extra gun damage. extra 45%. I sometimes use this, particularly in the Guardian Takedown, because the Spider Ant Scorcher doesn't really work that well, doing fire damage to Guardians, which one are flying and two have armor and shields. It's not that effective. In the Guardian Takedown, I would recommend this guy. Plus, he gives you more damage, but he's not that strong himself. He's just a really good bullet sorb, using a ton of he bites and just killing the Guardians for you via that. But yeah, in pretty much any other situation, mobbing-wise in the game, like Slaughter Shafts or in the Melee 1 Takedown in particular, the Spider Ant Scorcher definitely hits the hardest. He's like Fire Burst ability, one-shots most things. It's really awesome to see. As for Mayhem modifiers, I wouldn't fully recommend this list. Body system in particular kinda is super annoying for this build because Pet doesn't actually know what the body system is. He kind of just ignores it and attacks the immune enemy that never like takes any damage, which makes no sense. But if you are like with Pet, fighting with Pet, you can clear all the body systems if you want, and then Pet will just blow up the actual enemy itself. As for the rest, Speed Demon is a solid choice. Heal the Avenger is a great choice. I pretty much, like literally all the time, use that for medium modifier. As for the hard modifier, only use Pool Party if you want to use the Transformer survivability trick for takedowns. It's really, really good. Makes you pretty much immortal, particularly in the Guardian Takedown when everything has shields. But other than that, you can use a Drone Ranger as a good hard modifier. It's very neutral. Just try and keep everything as neutral as possible. But yeah, that's everything I have for my level 65 Mayhem 10 Flak Pet build, which absolutely crushes the takedowns and is a ton of fun to use Pet, like an actual side-by-side helpful sidekick. If you guys did find this video helpful or enjoyable, don't forget to smash subscribe down below. Like I said, 90% of people that watch my videos aren't subscribed this month. So if you guys do enjoy them, feel free to smash subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. If you hit that bell, YouTube will notify you for whenever I post a video. Post a ton of builds. I also have other character builds coming up this week, by the way. Got a few more Flak ones, a little specialty fun ones for you guys to check out. But then we're on to other characters. I also posted a bunch of other Borderlands content as well. If you guys want to help me out even more, if you smash like on the video, feel free to leave a comment if you have any other suggestions for gear, strats, etc. for this build. I'd love to hear them down below, especially if you guys have any comments. I'm more than happy to answer them. Other than that, you guys can check us out over on Twitch. I live stream every day just after I post my YouTube videos. We also have a Discord and a Twitter. Other than that, hope you guys have a fantastic day. I shall see you guys next video and a live stream for them. Adios.